What is up? CraftyTakesMMA here, and today we're going to be taking a peek, we're taking a little look at my UFC 329 picks. We're looking at all the fights, with the exception of Ryan Gonder versus Zachary Reese. For the simple fact, I just didn't feel like it. I kind of forgot about the fight. But other than that, this whole card's pretty good. No title fight, but Holloway-McGregor's a really good fight to with no title implications. I guess you could say. This whole card's pretty good. So let's start from the bottom with Alessandro Costa versus Cody Durden. So let's take a look into the fight. With Alessandro Costa, I feel like he is just kind of a mini Lopez. He trained with Diego Lopez. He's got them big meaty hooks. He's got the hair, the Diego Lopez. His boxing actually a little bit crisper than Diego Lopez, I'd say. He's gonna throw heavy leg kicks. Costa's really good at switching it up, head, body, legs, head, body, legs. That's something he really excels at, is the switching up of the target. And Cody Durden's game plan is obviously gonna be take him down, wrestle. But with the leg kick, it is harder to catch a leg kick and take someone down from that than like a body kick. I don't really see Costa throwing anything above the hip. So, I mean, Cody Durden might catch like one or two leg kicks, take him down. But it's just going to be way harder for him to do that than, like, if he's throwing body kicks and stuff. It's going to be hard for Cody Durden to take him down, too. Costa's a stout, young fighter. Durden's last fights, I'm going to have to edit this part out. But let's take a look. Let's take a look at some of Durden's last fights. I'm just going to be using the Verdict app for almost everything here, because the Verdict app is just... shout out to the Verdict app, dude. The Verdict app is great. Let's take a look at some of Durden's last fights. He beat Jafel Filio on, I think, if I remember right, pretty short notice, so that's not a bad win. He lost to Joshua Van, not too bad of a loss. Lost to Jose Ochoa by TKO. Not a horrible loss. And then he loses to Alan Nascimento and the Mongolian Tumen Dembaro. Those were his last 5 fights. And Cody Durden just hasn't really impressed with those last couple fights. Cody Durden's just not been... He's withered. He's not as good as he used to be. But here's the thing, dude. Durden's got the freaking wrestling, dude. Durden's definitely a good wrestler. You've seen it in his last few... In his wins, especially. He's got pretty good wrestling. Except... his last win for Jafel Filio was a sub against Matt Schnell, man. Matt Schnell, dude. But yeah, just his wrestling's good, but people are just gonna overrate it. The USA Wrestling tattoo. Now, here's what I mean by this. Take a look at that. The USA Wrestling tattoo is the UFC equivalent of the the Wizards jersey. The USA Wrestling tattoo is the equivalent of the Wizards jersey. It just makes whoever has it washed. Look at this, AJ. He looks so washed in the Wizard jersey, dude. Like, anyone who has that USA Wrestling tattoo, man, they look washed. I don't know what it is about it. But all that considered, my pick for this fight is going to be Alessandro Costa. I think probably a decision or, like, TKO from Costa. Costa has some decent... He has okay subs. You saw it way more in the regional scene. But it's not something he really focused on in the UFC. But, I mean, training with Diego Lopez, you're gonna get some pretty good takedowns and submissions off your back, especially when he's training with them as often as he is. But that's my... Next up is Farid Basharat versus John Garza. So let's take a look at this fight between Basharat and Garza. Basharat is a little bit of a slow starter, but when he's building into the fight, he he builds excellently. He's a bit of a slow starter. Like he'll take the first little bit, really slow, and then as he's building in the fight, he just excels at building in the fight. Garza looks like a savage. I was watching some of the tape. Garza looks fun. Garza's just fun to watch, man. His boxing, just everything about him, fun to watch. It's really late notice for Garza. I think it was about a little less than 2 weeks notice. Because, if I remember right, we found out Ewing wasn't going to be fighting about July 1st. So, roughly 2 weeks notice for Garza. Maybe a little less, maybe closer to 1 week, actually. If Garza wants to win, he's going to need to get on the gas early. Going to need to make Basharat uncomfortable. Going to need to really punch him with, like, when he's trying to edge, like, make his entries to the takedowns. You really need to punch him with, like, knees and uppercuts. Really punish him for going to those. Make it a stand-up fight. He can't let Basharat, like, back him up, you know? With all that being considered, I'm gonna pick Basharat. He's undefeated for a reason. He's just slick. And I think Garza can excel in the UFC. I think we'll have to wait and see him against UFC competition, obviously. He can 100%. I think he can compete with some of these guys. But going against Farid Basharat on like a week's notice is just not the potion for success, you know. Next up on the card, Damian Pinas versus Cesar Almeida. People freaking forget, man. Cesar Almeida kickboxed Pereira, man. Cesar Almeida kickboxed Pereira. Almeida's got good striking. He's who did he knock out? Abdul Rahman Al Hassan. I think that's how you say it. That actually might not. It's Al Hassan. That's all I know. He knocked him out after getting kind of punished. But he's 38. He's a bit of a plodster. D Penis is just younger. He's fresher. He's got more momentum, and I think that's something that'll really carry him. Like Almeida has a decent chin. Like he got dropped against Kopylov, but Kopylov's got decent power. He was getting kind of stunned against the cage against Al Hassan. But Al Hassan is one of those guys where he's a do or die power puncher. So, yeah, I mean, obviously you're going to get rocked when you're fighting him. But, yeah, Almeida turned Kopylov into a grappler. So, I think a lot of people are saying Pinas by first round TKO. I don't really see it. I think D Pinas will win. But I think it'll be if he wins by KO, it's gonna be TKO up against the fence. But I see it more so D Pinas wins a round, wins 2 rounds. Almeida wins 1, 29-28 decision. That's kind of how I see the fight going. But next fight of the night, Tracy Cortez versus Wang Tong. That's how you say it. I had to search that up because I was a little unsure. But, we all want Cortez versus a Wang, dude. We all want to see Cortez versus a Wang. That's besides the point. Jokes aside. Wang Tong has really slick striking. She had a old Muay Thai fight with Shevchenko and won. But her grappling's not great. She got submitted by, Gabriela Fernandez, I believe, is her name. Back 2 years ago at UFC, Macau. It was a China card. Cortez, her wrestling and just top control is really good, especially in the women's divisions. Her top control, we all have seen Cortez on top. Her top control is really good. Her wrestling takedown's really good. I'm picking Cortez by like classic smudge decision. Absolutely classic smudge decision. Next fight of the night, Luke Riley versus Kai Kamaka. This is a little bit of an underrated fight. I'm excited for this fight. Kamaka's a bit of a crafty vet here. He had he had a little run in the UFC, got cut, went on and I think fought in the PFL and Bellator. But no, he came back. He fought against Bob Hope, and that fight was really good. I'm pretty sure it was up weight class if I remember correctly. That's besides the point. That fight was really good. I thought it was fun. Sucks that it was it was the opening fight to like the worst card of the year. But that was a fun fight. He's relatively durable. You don't really see him like he hasn't lost by TKO or KO since 2020 when he was in the UFC, and then he got cut, went to Bellator, PFL, and all that. He's relatively durable, but his wins aren't great. These guys are both. I don't even know if Kai Kamaka counts as prospect, but his wins aren't great, and his losses, he lost like Diego Brandao in some regional scene, but Luke Riley, with considering how durable Kamaka is, Luke Riley's fast with how powerful he is. He is fast, man. And Riley just has... Riley's got the killer instinct. Riley is just so much better at finding the finish than Kamaka. And I think that... I'm picking Luke Riley. I think I see either Luke Riley's decision, unanimous decision, or I see Luke Riley, he hurts Kamaka. Kamaka's still up, but he's kind of out on his feet. And Luke Riley just beats him up against the fence until the ref stops it. That's kind of how I see this fight going. So yeah, I got Luke Riley. Next fight of the night, the 25-minute blood. Cody Garbrandt versus Adrian Yanez. Garbrandt's just... I think people overhype Garbrandt still. Garbrandt did nothing and won his last fight. Obviously, that's against Zhao Long for not kicking him. But still, like, he should not have won that last fight. Yanez's fight, in comparison, his last fight was great. He beat up Ricky Simone, and I thought he won there. I don't get how that was a draw. We all hate to see it, and we all hate to say it, but we all have to admit it. Garbrandt's washed, dude. Like, he was the right person at the right time to win the belt. That's what I'll say. But he's lost his fire to stand and bang. He'll just run away now. Like, he will genuinely just run away. So I think what we're gonna see is Yanez just put the pace on him, beat him up with the boxing. He's gonna be pushing Garbrandt back a lot in this fight, and I just see Yanez winning this fight by decision or KO. That's what I see. Next fight of the night, Gable Steveson versus Alicia Ellison, as how I believe you say it. We do not like Gable Steveson. We do not appreciate the loophole. We do not care to see him win a belt. But the UFC is just gonna push him anyway. The UFC really wants the wrestling casuals to come to the UFC. So yeah, we're gonna get more Gable Steveson. If you don't know about the Gable Steveson thing, I'd suggest you go to MMA on Point. They did a really good video on it. But Alicia Ellison, he seems like a cool guy. I saw this TikTok of a clip of him on a podcast. And he just seems like a chill guy, man. I don't know. At first I was like, yeah, I don't really know him. But he seems like a chill guy. And Gable Stevenson's defense is a little sus. Like, he got caught in his last fight with, like, the weirdest spinning back kick you'll ever see. All that being said, hate to say it, Gabe Stevenson's gonna win. I'm not gonna put a picture of him up. I don't really care to. But yeah, Gabe Stevenson's gonna win. Probably early TKO. Like maybe knocks him down, just ground and pound until it's over, or we'll see takedown to ground and pound. I can tell UFC really wants to push the guy because he's being backed by John Jones. But yeah, that's kind of how I see the fight going. Next fight of the card and the featured prelim of UFC 329, Nikita Krylov versus Bobby fucking Knuckles. That was a terrible Australian accent. Big move up for Robert Whittaker as someone who was relatively undersized for middleweight. Obviously, he was fighting RDR last, and he's a big middleweight. Hamzat, but even the guys who are middleweights, he just seems a little bit smaller compared to most of them, like Vittori. Seems small to a lot of the guys he's been fighting. But that's just because Whittaker's like almost like Islam, where a lot of his weight's like in his back and in his torso. The Whittaker has no power take is way overdrawn. He dropped RDR. Obviously, he didn't do great against Hamzat. Because, I mean, Hamzat was the champ, man. He didn't do great against Hamzat. Like, that's a bad thing. No one's done great against Hamzat except for Strickland. Even then, that was debatable. TKO'd Ikram Aliskerov. He got rocked by Paulo Costa, but he had some. I think he had a couple decent moments. Made Vittori look like he didn't belong in there. Like that made him look like he didn't belong in there. But Vittori didn't look like he belonged in that fight. Now the next question we have is, can Krylov take a shot? We've seen he didn't really get dropped by Bukowskis, but do I know when he can't take a shot? It's when he's overextending. Bogdan Guskov had one of the best game plans, where he's just kind of backing up until Krylov inevitably decided to overextend, and he hit him, dropped him, and finished him. And Whittaker's gonna have his lighter man skill. As long as he can take the power, and that's I think what a lot of people are gonna be. This is where the fight's gonna be decided. If Whittaker can take the power of the light heavyweights, because obviously the weight cut might have been some of the reason for his demised chin at middleweight, but it's still like, can he take a shot at light heavyweight? Because these guys definitely do hit harder. It's a 20-pound difference, you know? But yeah, I mean, that's the question, and I just think Bobby Knuckles can win. I don't want to pick Krylov, because Whittaker's just the way better fighter. He's so much better. And I see Bobby Knuckles, maybe he follows the Bogdan Guskov game plan of just kind of waiting until he overextends, popping him with the 1-2 head kick. That's besides the point. Next fight of the card, and the first fight of the main card, King Green versus Terrence T-Rex McKinney. This is what I think of when I'm watching Bedtime MMA, and he's talking about the WWE main event. This is the fight you think of when you think of WWE main event. We all know the McKinney jokes and the McKinney talk of, oh, he never makes it out the first round. He's made it out the first round a couple times. But it's true. He kind of withers himself if he doesn't get the immediate finish. And he leaves himself open when he's doing his marauding blitzes. His grappling is pretty underrated. He has pretty good grappling. He just never really needs to use it unless he's fighting a really good striker, like when he fought Slaviklaus, I think. Or was it Borshev? Or those the same guy? I'm confused myself. It's late at night. I had a busy day at work, man. No one's gonna watch this anyway. McKinney has pretty underrated grappling. He's pretty good. He just never used it. And King Green has some decent grappling. I mean, he submitted the ghost of Tony Ferguson He's got okay grappling. He's not a complete bumbling buffoon on the ground. The real question on who you think wins this is if you think Green is gonna catch McKinney when he's doing his old fashioned Marauder blitz. And I just don't think he does. I think Terrence McKinney, it's like King Green's not bad. His little run of Lance Gibson, Zell Huber, and the hard hitting 145 pounder right here, Jeremy Stevens. Almost fell. It's not a bad win streak, but Terrence McKinney, and this was something I was kind of debating. Terrence McKinney's losses in the UFC have been worse than King Green's. Look at King Green's losses in the past 5 years since 2020. His worst loss is either Jalen Turner or what's the dude's name? Thiago Moises. But I just think Terrence McKinney's younger. King Green, when he's losing, he looks like the worst fighter in the UFC. When he's winning, he looks like the best fighter. But the way he fights, where he's just keeping his hands down and kind of waiting for you to come at him and counter, if you're keeping your hands down against Terrence McKinney, you're already doing something wrong. So I got Terrence McKinney, first round knockout. Should be a fun fight. Unless it turns out like Johnny Walker, Dom Reyes, and it's just a 29-28 split decision. But it should be a good fight. Next fight of the night, the Raw Dog Brandon Royval versus Loner Kavanaugh. Royval's pressure is really good. His pressure is just kind of hard to deal with at flyweight, especially when he's 5'11" and just towering over you. But it leaves him open counters. We saw that a lot against Joshua Van, where he'd kind of pressure, and Van would be exiting and just check him with a hook and kind of stun him. We saw that a lot with the Joshua Van fight. And Kavanaugh is able to counter really good. Kavanaugh's counters are really good. Kavanaugh's striking is just so slick. So slick, man. Royval is definitely less washed than Moreno. Moreno is washed. The mayor of Washed County. The mayor of Washed freaking County. But maybe Royval is washed. His losses haven't been bad per se. But he got dominated. I'm going to use that word. Dominated against Josh Van. Got knocked out bad against Cap. So all in all, I'm going to take Kavanaugh to win this by TKO or decision. That's where I'm taking it. Should be a good fight. Loner Kavanaugh is really fun to watch. Brandon Royval is really fun to watch. Put them together. Gotta hope it's fun to watch. Next fight of the night, and the featured fight of the card, Corey Sandhagen versus Mario Batista 2. This is exciting, but for a whole different reason Green versus McKinney is. It's exciting as a kind of tit-for-tat outside foot battle type of exciting. Both these guys are really technical, and they got pretty high fight IQ. They're both the technical maestros. The technical maestro. They're both technical maestros of the UFC bantamweight division. And the main things have changed since then. Batista's gotten older. They both gotten older. As they've gotten older, Sandhagen has become so much less aggressive as Batista has become more aggressive. And Batista's striking also since then has gotten better. And his wrestling has just, in his last few fights, has been so impressive. The fight against Umar Nurmagomedov was pretty good. He dropped him bad. And he had a decent foot entanglement. You're not really going to submit those Russian guys with those foot entanglements. But that was if I remember right, that was a good little fight. And I just think Batista's still on the up. Batista's on the uprise. Whereas I feel like Sandhagen's been on the downfall. Obviously, it's hard to say, oh man, Sandhagen's been on the downfall because he lost to Marab. But in his last few fights, he hasn't looked as impressive. And I don't know if that's just him not being the level that everyone thinks he is, or if that's him becoming worse. But all things being considered, I'm going to be picking Mario Batista Battleborn. And I think this is going to be a classic Sandhagen Batista fight. This fight, Sandhagen versus Mario Batista, is the equivalent of like. This is the fight where, like, you know the guys from Big Bang Theory, that image? Where all of them are teamed up like the Avengers? This is like, bro, this is the frickin' people's main event. And the people the people are Sheldon. Sheldon from the Big Bang Theory. Okay. Next fight of the card, and the co-main event of the evening. The God of War, Benoit Saint-Denis versus Patty the frickin' Patty the Batty Pimblett. Patty the Batty Pimblett. I just want to start this off by saying, I love Benoit Saint-Denis. He's so fun to watch. His marauding style. So fun to watch. I love Patty Pimblett. He's just so fun to watch. Patty Pimblett. He has not really been in a boring fight that I can think of. Most boring fight I can think of that's been in is like Jared Gordon, and even then it's just like, it's not that bad a fight. BSD has STAPH, I believe. I made the slide before I started recording. Obviously, I went on Instagram, and the Verdict app posted that BSD said like, it's not STAPH, it's just a scab. Which, I mean, I could say I have $1 million. It doesn't mean it's true. BSD does seem to be a nasty guy. I like BSD. He's fun to watch. He seems like he doesn't shower. I'll be honest with you. BSD seems like he does not take showers. So, BSD might have STAPH. We saw what happened last time when he had STAPH against us in Poria. He just seems so much slower and less powerful. So, we'll kind of see if that's true after the fight, probably. If he loses, he'll probably complain about it. BSD's run. I don't want to call it a Mickey Mouse run, but I feel like people are kind of overrating it. He was supposed to fight Joel Alvarez, which that would have been a sick fight. He had to fight Cal Prepolek, and is still not looking the best. You can't take anything away from the Mauricio Rufy fight. He got, like, tagged once, but he still beat him bad. And this was at the time where everyone was talking about the fighting nerds, like, they're the frickin' Avengers, man. They are the frickin' Avengers, man. But he beats Mauricio Rufy, then he beats the ghost of Benny in like 15 seconds, which that's fun to watch. For the 7th time. It's fun to watch Beneil Dariush get flatlined in the first round for the 6th time. Never gets tired. Sucks. I love Beneil Dariush. And then he beats Dan Hooker, and that's not a bad win. But it's right after, you have to put it in the context. It's right after he lost to Arman Tsarukyan. It's like 2 months after he lost to Arman Tsarukyan. So that's something a little rough to talk about. Benoit Saint-Denis' takedowns. He kind of like, his takedowns are interesting. But the way he does his takedowns, he leaves his neck so open. And if he goes for a takedown on Patty Pimblett, his neck's going to get snatched. He's going to get guillotined so quick. I'll put a video of his takedowns up and just kind of show you what I'm talking about with him and Patty Pimblett getting his guillotine. I know Pimblett doesn't really go for guillotines that much, but he's a jiu-jitsu... Sorry. He's a jiu-jitsu artist. And when someone leaves their neck open like that, he's gonna capitalize. He's not a stupid fighter. And Patty's counters. When Patty fought Justin Gaethje, I feel like people were either on two sides. They were on the extreme of, dude, Justin freaking dominated. Or they're like, Patty the Batty got robbed. Patty the Batty got robbed. It wasn't either. It was a good fight. It was I had it 49-46. I also picked Gaethje. It was probably close to 48-47. It was one of those two. And Patty was keeping up in the striking with Gaethje. So what makes you think he won't keep up in striking with BSD? The only thing BSD has on him is like the unpredictability. But with all that being said, I'm picking I'm picking Paddy Pimblett, probably by sub or honestly decision. He could go the Hanato Moicano route and kind of beat him up on the ground like he did with Chandler. I could see that happening. I just think Patty's better, which sucks because I love Benoit Saint Denis. But I'm gonna go with Paddy Pimblett to win by something for sure. I'll post my verdict picks on the Instagram the day of the fight. The next fight of the night and the main event of the evening. The notorious Conor McGregor versus Max Blessed Holloway. We gonna find out, buddy. Saturday night, we gonna find out, buddy. It's the return of the Mac, dude. I've been seeing a lot of people on Instagram. They kind of... This goes along. People forget, man. No one forgot about Conor McGregor. I feel like a lot of people on Twitter and Instagram are kind of thinking, like, dude, people forgot about the amazing run he's on. He's won, like, one fight in the past 10 years, I think. If I'm remembering correctly. He beat Cerrone. I think... Was it Alvarez in 20... yeah, no, never mind. 2 fights. Alvarez was in 2016. Don't get me wrong. Conor McGregor is one of those guys where he has the skills and he has that power. He has the fast switch muscle. He has the touch of death. We're gonna hear Joe Rogan talk about that. The touch of death. He has the touch of death that Faraz Sahabi talks about. He has the power to do it, but if he doesn't get Holloway out of there in the first round and a half, he's gonna lose. He can't play the nail. And the only time I ever saw him play the nail was against Chad Mendes. And even then, Chad Mendes was so gassed because he took the fight on like 2 weeks' notice. But yeah, I think if he doesn't win by knockout within the first round and a half, he's gonna lose. I will say, Holloway's the best matchup they could have given him. Holloway's not gonna go for the takedown. Holloway's a boxer predominantly. He'll go for like body kicks and head kicks. He doesn't really focus on the leg kicks as much. So he's not gonna punish. That's not gonna be punishing McGregor's karate stance, and even McGregor's just leg as it's beat up as it is now. Something to add on for Conor. I hate to say it, but Holloway's chin has been a little suspect as of late. In his last like 4 fights, I believe he's been dropped in 3 of them. He got dropped bad against the Ghost of Poirier. Got dropped bad. It wasn't as bad. He still got dropped against Justin Gaethje after Gaethje lost 4 rounds. And he got KO'd by Ilya Topuria. Nothing wrong with that. But what I'm saying is, Conor McGregor at 170, he's definitely going to have more power at 170. I don't know how well Holloway's chin is going to adapt to 170. I don't think that 170 is an advantage for Holloway. They 100% did welterweight for McGregor. Because McGregor's not going to be able to make 155, I don't think. He's gotten so much bigger. And the way Holloway's going to win this is through volume. He's probably going to lose the first round. If McGregor's doing what he usually does with his karate stance. Bip, bip, bip. You know what I'm talking about? But Holloway's going to win this through volume. And my pick is going to be Max Holloway. I feel like if you're picking McGregor, it's kind of like with Volk Lopez. And I picked Lopez because I'm a Lopez super fan. It's kind of like McGregor. Like, McGregor Holloway is like, if you're picking McGregor, you're picking him to fluke Holloway. And I'm not saying you can't do that. I'm not saying don't do that. But what I'm saying is, that's what you're picking on, and I'm not going to pick on the McGregor fluke. I'd rather pick Holloway, and I think Holloway will win. But I'd rather pick Holloway and be like, oh, he got fluked, than pick McGregor and try to cope myself, try to convince myself to pick him. So I'm going Max Blessed Holloway. Hey, budda, we're going to find out Saturday night, budda. And that is it for the UFC 329 Crafty Takes MMA picks. Let's just review them real quick. I picked Alessandro Costa, Farid Basharat, D. Pinas, Tracy Cortez, Luke Riley, Adrian Yanez, Gable Steveson and Nikita Krylov in the prelims. And with my main card picks, I went Terrence McKinney, Loner Kavanaugh, Patty the Batty Bimblet. I think I skipped over Mario Batista. I forgot the name. Mario Batista, Batty the Batty, and Max Blessed Holloway, brother. If you liked the video, and if you're even here this far, pray like MMA. I'm here. I love MMA. Follow me, subscribe. I have an account on Instagram, account on TikTok, and account here on YouTube, all with the username CraftyTakesMMA. Follow up, subscribe. Hope you like this video. If you have any ideas for another video, leave them in the comments. I will be doing an immediate reaction after the card. Not quite immediate. It'll probably be the morning after when you guys see it. I have stuff to do that night. I have to go to frickin' work. I got a job. But I will have an immediate reaction. I will probably have one more video out before that. If you guys like it, subscribe, leave a comment. I'll see you boys and the next one. Bye.